This is a phenomenal bike ride, and I can tell you he's so casual. This is his first time he's ever biked the full 112 miles here in Hawaii. He's never been up to the turn in Harvey. He's certainly been up there today. Doesn't he look...
Ua mau ke e o ka aina I ka pono o Hawaii and breakfast with Bob.
Poncho Man. Welcome, everybody. Breakfast with Bob, St. George edition, championship edition. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spa, Zion's Bank, Quintana Room, Forum Smart Swim Goggles, Clash Endurance, Premium Plus Sports, and, of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, Mr. Braden Currie, ended up in third yesterday on the podium. Yeah. How you doing, Braden? How your legs feeling?
Oh, yeah, that run course was pretty brutal. So, yeah, the legs are feeling it for sure, but we're pretty good.
What I really enjoyed is watching that group of five. It was yourself and Daniel Bakkegaard and Kyle Smith and Florian Engert and Sam Laidlaw. You guys were so smooth. Legal, right? But everybody, the one word I heard from a number of you guys was respectful. Everybody was taking their time at the front, and nobody was pushing somebody else out there for too long.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great group, and it made the difference to our race. I think the big thing you find in these World Champs races, you quite often end up in a group, but it's very surgy, and a lot of people were trying to break the group and split the group. And,
right.
Everyone in that group was really respectful, and we just all worked together. And you compare us to the Cam Worths of the sport and the Lionel Sanders. We're not the Uber bikers in that group, but I think all together we showed that just some good consistency and I guess teamwork in a way that we kept things rolling and kept pushing each other.
Well, and then obviously you've got the Olympic gold medalist back there, and Lionel right now is running as well as anybody in the sport. There was a reason. You guys wanted to get a nice gap going into that marathon.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was, I guess it was the way I would have hoped for the race to pan out
exactly
in a lot of ways
right.
for how I race. It was a good reason for everyone in that group as well to keep working together and not try and break it up. It worked really well.
And when did there's a number of out and back, so you could see Christian and you could see Lionel. And when did you get a feel that Christian's going to get me?
On the run, I felt really good through the first 21K, and I was holding pretty similar run pace to Christian. And then, I think probably, the 28, it just hit me pretty quick. I didn't slow down a huge amount, but I just didn't have the speed on the descents that I did on the first loop. And, Christian pulled back that kind of couple minutes down one of the big descents, and it was all on. I had to decide whether I wanted to kick or whether I wanted to try and just make sure I held it together for second. And that's probably the decision I made at that point in time. Again, that got to a bit of a battle as well.
Yeah, and then, so he goes by about mile 18 or so, and then you got Lionel, who's every week we see him in a sprint finish with somebody, right? We just saw him with Rudy Von Berg, and we've seen him, over and over again do that. But you're in 1.2 miles. Mile 25, you still had 30 seconds. Mile 22, 2.5 minute lead.
2.5 minutes.
And that guy, but I saw him at Oceanside make up 2 minutes on Alistair Brownlee in that half marathon. He caught him at about 11 miles or something like that.
Yeah, he's stubborn. It was good. I mean, that's the fun of the battle. You don't know till it's all over. But I was still running, pretty strong, and I kind of thought with that 2.5 minute split that as long as I just kept running the pace, he probably had to run about 20 seconds per K faster than I was running, and I thought that would have been very hard for him to achieve. He definitely hit that last 3 kilometre descent, and before I knew it, he was hot on my heels, and there wasn't much left in the tank by that time.
And then you had that little out and back, which you're coming towards, you're like, why can't we just go right to the finish? Why do I have to do that out and back?
I know, it seemed like the natural flow just to finish straight down into the finishing chute, but if it wasn't for that out and back, it would have been one step closer. Yeah.
I love that. That is really cool. So you end up getting third. Lionel goes by, and what was interesting is Lionel said in Oceanside he learned a lesson because he came up next to, I think it was Rudy when he first caught him, and rather than sit on him, And then sprint, he went side by side. Then Rudy surged. And he was like, oh, he had to use way too much energy. So he said, when I came up on Braden, I sat, and you knew he was right there sitting on you. There's nothing you can do at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it all happened pretty quick. And I know he had just taken quite a lot of time out of me in that descent. So I knew he was still running really well. And, I was definitely feeling it. I guess at the end of the day, I went for the win early on in the race.
Right.
And, I ran that first 21K at the same speed as Christian, and I really put it out there, and that was the decision that I made. And I could look at it another way and go, wow, I could have probably notched it back and ran a minute slower for that first 21K, and probably would have held Lionel off. But you sometimes you just got to throw it out there. No,
you're there to be being on a podium's nice, but you want to be looking down, right?
Exactly.
How tough was this period with COVID where you guys really you couldn't get off the island, right? You couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it's been a big couple of years in New Zealand. I mean, we've been very lucky in a lot of ways that it's been, I guess, so safe. And
yes,
we've had very little COVID affect the country in particular. But likes of last year, I shot over to Slovakia in what was supposed to be my lead up to Kona. And then, Kona got cancelled, postponed till now. And I ended up 10 weeks in Europe, and when you got 2 young kids and a wife at home, you kind of get over those days of chipping around Europe. So it's definitely been a little bit challenging, but it's good to feel like it's kind of back on path now.
And Kona, you've been 5th and 7th, right, in Kona. So obviously that place suits you. So will the build now be a build towards Kona?
I might throw an Ironman Cairns in there in a month's time.
You've won that, haven't you?
Yeah, I think I won it 2 or 3 times or something. 3 times maybe now. So we'll just see how the body pulls up in the next week and how things are looking for the rest of the year. But we'll do that, and then Slovakia, and then Kona.
That's going to be a busy schedule.
Yeah. It doesn't feel too bad.
Now, do you toss in some, because your background is adventure racing, and all the kayaking, and you still mix in, right? Because the kayaking is what led to you become such a great swimmer.
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah. It's a funny one. I took a lot of the techniques that I guess I learnt from years of kayaking, and I crossed them over, I guess, fluid dynamics and movement in the water and stuff like that. I think I'm not a pretty swimmer, but I seem to be.
You get there.
I seem to get there. I seem to make it happen. So, I still cross over a little bit. It was pretty funny early in the year. Ironman New Zealand was supposed to be on, so it got cancelled last minute. So I jumped back into what is the Coast to Coast.
The Coast to Coast, which you've won how many? Like 4 or 5?
This is my 4th time now.
Yeah.
It's an incredible race, and it's a great scene in New Zealand. It's an incredibly tough race.
And tell you, it's you paddle, you run, you swim. What do you do?
It goes one side of the country to the other in the day. It's about 10, 11 hours.
It's over 200K, right?
Yeah. You ride, you run, and the run is big boulders, a mountain pass. You cross through a river about 30, 40 odd times, and then kayak, down a big river, and finish with a big long time trial into the city of Christchurch. So it was good. It was fun to be back into it. But I think it just sort of ticked the boxes for me for racing. It's good.
I love it, Braden. Always such a treat to get to chat with you. Congratulations on 3rd place. That's getting on the podium is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, podium, man. It was just fun to be at the front of the race, pushing it.
Yeah, you were the guy. You were the guy pushing it, and everybody had to go chase you. If somebody had told you beforehand, okay, here's going to be your splits. You're going to go 47-37, 4:16:31, and 2:47:11, and 7:54:19 on this course with 7,500 feet of climbing and 1,500 feet of elevation in the run.
I would have thought I would have won it.
Absolutely. Totally. Absolutely. I look at those splits.
I thought anyone who really went under that.
Somebody goes under 8 and goes sub 250.
You would have been good. And anyone who rides that kind of 4:16 kind of mark is going to be the top riders. And we would have been all around the sort of 4:25 kind of mark. So, I would have thought that would have had it in the bag, but apparently not.
The world is changing.
You got to keep going bloody hard. Norwegians, eh?
Love it. Poncho Man, take us out.
Ke o ka aina I ka pono o Hawaii and breakfast with Bob.
Thank you, Poncho Man. That is a wrap for Breakfast with Bob, St. George edition and Championship edition. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we will catch you next time. See ya.